truly Asia, and welcome to Uganda, truly Africa. I don't want to really go very far. I believe that you've had very fruitful discussions, and that the engagements that you have had with these are principally the heads of the tourism agencies in Uganda. Our role as UTB is to facilitate and to make it easier to enable this discourse to continue very well. I've been following up with Dorcas, and she's been telling me almost every 6 hours what's been happening, and she told me that things were good. I would congratulate my sister for being bumped once again by the gorilla. You're probably the only person in the world. This is a Guinness Book of Records. Dorcas, we need to arrange a special certificate and an award. Yes. Yeah. You know, I would love to be bumped in a good way. That animal is massive; it can kill you. So I think that the issues you discussed are good. Africa has 54 countries. Uganda is just one of them. Security, fantastic. We are actually exporting peace in the region. Our troops are in Sudan, Somalia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, and we maintain a large portfolio of peacekeeping missions, both police and military operations, on behalf of the United Nations. In fact, on your way out, you will find a big airbase by the United Nations monitoring unit, which is an absolute signature of as a country, we are committed to peace, both in the region and internationally. So you can't go to a better place. Uganda is the haven of peace. Internal transport, obviously, you saw. Uganda is an interesting place. I think that there are those who love a snap visit. So you fly in and you fly to the gorillas. We have that capacity. We have over 6 domestic companies: AirServe, Airlink, MAF, Eagle Air, Kampala Executive Aviation, Air Uganda. All of these do daily, both chartered and scheduled flights to the gorilla areas, to other country places. So within 30 minutes of flight, you are in any place in the country. We are not a very big country. So we have both air and ground transportation. The difference...
6 flights per day?
No. 6 air companies that do flights. We do 30 flights a day to different parts of the country. But we have dedicated 6 companies, and many more are registering to do that. Of course, they all come with their costs. But soon we are going to launch our national airline, revive our national airline. We used to have an airline, it had problems, like all other airlines. But we are reviving it, and obviously we'll commit a number of scheduled fleet towards this initiative. So that should be easy. What is different though is that although the ground transport is longer, it is more experiential. Every 30 minutes, I think you saw, is a completely different terrain. So you see rolling hills, you see valleys, you see swamps, it's an experience. Even if you fly, the area view is fantastic. We have lots more land in water. We have the largest archipelago of islands in the whole of Africa, over 2,000 islands on Lake Victoria, which is another experience. I know you're very close to the sea and you have islands yourselves, so it's another experience. The difference though is that our islands are on high altitude, so it's hot and cool. It's not as humid. I've been to Singapore, it's very humid, which I think is almost the same terrain as Malaysia, but different people, culture, heritage sites, historical facts, different. So it's a good one. Cost of accommodation, I think Chairman addressed that. We have all levels, and I think it's just a question of costing the itinerary. So whether you're high-end, middle, or budget, we have that capacity to accommodate. I'm glad you mentioned the travel shows, the need for us. I think that the private sector, in my view, should start looking at the Asian market. It's very, very good. Big Tours knows this, Mr. Antale, the Asian market. It's being called emerging, but it's not just been emerging. I think it just has not known what has happened on the African side. But I think it's time for Asia to meet with Africa. And we share a lot of commonality and similarities. So it's one of those places where we do repeats. I'm familiar with the fact that many of our students in Uganda now prefer to go to Malaysia. I have many nephews and nieces who go to Malaysia for education. It's affordable, it's world class, and the people are good. So we can have Malaysians studying in Uganda and almost having that cross-cultural experience. So I think we should, Lucas, how's it going? I think the issue of March and September, we should put it on our calendar.
Another one is August MITM.
MITM, eh?
Malaysia International Travel Month.
Which one is the biggest?
Because
March one. What's the one of March called?
MATTA.
MATTA. What is that in full?
Malaysia Association Travel and Tours.
Okay. I think we will, Alex will coordinate with you. We'll put it on our, Otto has a calendar of events, and UTA can include it on our bucket list to attend. We have a similar one here in Uganda. It's called the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. So it happens every year in February. So it would be good to include it, so that, and there we can engage you as hosted buyers.
If you have the hosted buyers, then we maybe come to you survey in the next year.
Yeah. So again, it's our coordination. I wish Lucas was here. The issue of DMCs, yes, I think that would be our next step. We've just finished one with the Gulf states, China and Japan, for the Eastern axis. The West we have the German-speaking countries, the English-speaking countries, and North America. So I think finally is to, where is Docas? Yeah, wish she can come here. Yeah, I think the other one is I don't know how we are going to proceed with the private sector on this one. We need another dedicated meeting to share with the broader group constituency about this discussion, so that it comes out as an output of our private sector engagement, and then we can take it to another level. There are areas, Alex, I don't know, probably we engage you at another level. We would need to find a mechanism of maybe having a broader cooperation on things like cuisine and food, Malaysian cuisine, maybe a Malaysian restaurant here in Uganda, to cater for some of that interest. I don't know whether we can also engage students exchange for chefs, so that we get people coming in. I know that there's the Chinese, Malay, Indian mix of, but we can discuss broader cooperation, tour guiding, that kind of thing. But that's for more professional advice. But having said that, we again thank you so much for coming to Uganda and experiencing our country. We apologize for the wasps. We apologize for the wasps that encumbered your stay. But more importantly, we appreciate the embassy, Alex in particular, for having put together a fantastic team. I've never met such an enthusiastic team of this one. I'm saying it sincerely. You're the best team I have seen. That's very warm and nice and loving. And I want to thank the private sector chair, through you and your members, for having come and share this experience. This is what we want to encourage. Where is Dorcas?
She's coming.
Shortly, I'm concluding. We need to do a group photograph.
Yes, we do.
we are supposed to take a group photograph. But so thank you, Chair, and your team for the private sector, you, Otto, Gloria for, she has gone out, my God, everybody has disappeared. Dorcas has disappeared. So thank you very much, and we really, really appreciate you. And we would like now to offer some little gifts from Uganda that remind you of this country. They are experiential, so this is Ugandan coffee. Oh. But let me tell you something about, and this is gorilla coffee. Mm. Yes. So let me talk a little bit in 1 minute, if you don't mind, about coffee. There are two types of coffee in the world. There's Arabica coffee and Robusta. Arabica coffee has its roots in Ethiopia, in a place called Kaffa, and Robusta coffee has its roots in Uganda. The origins of coffee are in Uganda. The coffee you take in Malaysia actually came from here. And so it's been traced for thousands of years. And we actually know, we've traced the epicenter, and it was preserved by monkeys and chimpanzees for thousands of years. So that variety of coffee is what we've preserved as 1,000 cups of coffee. It's organic, it's grown at high altitude, it has a scent, it has a taste, it adds many years on your life. So it's with pleasure, on behalf of Ugandans, that we present this coffee to you. So that will be not just a reminder, but a taste of Uganda. Truly Africa. So I'll present it to you, and I think you can pass it on, or do I give it to you individually? It's okay, because of time.
Yeah,
I'll pass it on. So, since you are the nearest man
yes.
to the cockpit, you can pass it on.
Yes.